I guess for the morning, I have Adam Mutawakilu, and he's a member of parliament for Damango. And it's a privilege to have you, sir.
Great.
And he's a member of the NDC. I'm mentioning NDC because they just opened nominations for their primaries. When is it supposed to enter that?
10th
of September? Or that'll be next week?
September,
Great.
Yeah. Nominations
nice. Have you picked your form already?
Yeah, that was last Thursday.
Right.
A week. Today.
All right. We also have in the studio Henry Kwapna Kokofu.
Thank you.
Okay. He's a member of parliament for Bantama. He's a member for the MPP as well. And we know the MPP, they're having difficulties managing their finances. Apparently, officials of the party are opening accounts, rough, bank accounts. So we're talking a little bit about that. But substantially, we're talking about issues of the economy, management of our public finances, and subjects that are related to increments in jobs in the public sector or not. And the finance minister has been appearing on Joy FM, speaking on a number of issues, a plethora of issues, because we're just hearing that the last, one of the tranches of what the receipt would be from the IMF are expected to be deposited in our reserves and ultimately an account of the Bank of Ghana. And $116 million it should be. That's good news. But it's also because Ghana apparently has been doing so well according to the benchmarks that have been set by the IMF in fiscal spending, but also prudent management of public expenditure. That is good news. But not everybody is happy about it. I have to start with you, Honorable Kokofu. So far, would you say you've been happy about management of the economy so far since we started quoting the IMF under the current dispensation?
Yes, let me begin by saying good morning to your cherished viewers, and I welcome myself to your show.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Made an appearance, and I hope we have good interactions. Greetings to Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, as they get ready, prepared to take on a nation tour, 2 weeks. And then to my people in Bantama, as usual. I love them and they do love me too. IMF and government and finance minister. I was surprised, shocked, and quite ashamed when I heard our finance minister beating his chest, boasting that government has done so well, and for that matter, IMF is rolling out the second tranche of their promise. I have good reasons. Likewise, any other Ghanaian who might be following all these things. Unfortunately, we are in a predicament, we are in a situation which was caused, self-inflicted, which was caused by our own selves. We went into this quagmire of despondency in running our economy because of recklessness and indiscipline in our fiscal regimes and how we run things here in Ghana. And we turn around, somebody comes to our rescue, IMF comes to our rescue, and we turn around beating our chest that we've done that well. What happened? What precipitated our going to IMF? The answer is with our president. He said, we're going to IMF to seek policy credibility. We're going to IMF to seek policy credibility. So it means that on our own, as a nation, as a people, we are unable to, as it were, do our things as we have promised ourselves. So therefore, we have inflicted onto ourselves this economic calamity, this situation we find ourselves. So the president and his government ran to IMF, and it comes with conditionalities. They told us they were going to Senchi to come up with homegrown policies that will help solve all the problems. They went to Senchi, spent public money, public funds, came back empty-handed, nothing was in hand. Then they ran to IMF with all the conditionalities. And we know a freeze on a 3-year freeze on job, except critical areas of education and health. Even then, it is replacement. Then we are to charge commercial value for all utilities. That's another aspect of it. Then petroleum prices increment. And all other conditions that are not going down well with the people of Ghana. Austere measures. That's what it is. Then the headmaster is on your head, holding the cane. So you finish your homework under strict supervision and you tell yourself, I've done well. What has happened to the black man managing his own affairs when we were promised?
Well, we do understand all those rhetorics, but at the end of the day, Honorable Kufuor, it's about how you're able to subject yourself to a certain fiscal regime, making sure you're within certain parameters in spending. Ultimately, that helps to structure your economy in a certain direction. And I believe that should be good news for all of us.
Pay your own? Because we have budget statements, budget estimates presented to Parliament by government or by the President through the Finance Minister. These budget statements spells out fiscal policies and all that, expenditure and then revenue coming in. Then you go out there deliberately or whatever, you overspent. 2012 alone, election year, you overspent our budget by 4 billion Ghana cedis. So, and then you find yourself in trouble. Who caused that?
So you and your side of Parliament are saying that we should look at the factors that may have led to all this.
Exactly. So lessons are to be learned.
Well, we've learned our lessons, haven't we?
Well, no, I don't think so. Then going again, we're talking about a total of $960 million from IMF. This is not the case. We have, for the 4 years of lifting crude, accrued $3 billion of our own money. $3 billion of oil and gas revenue coming through. What has happened to those?
Well, they're part of budget expenditure.
Well, so then, if that couldn't even help, $116 million could do what?
I do understand your point, but the whole intent, Adams Butawakilu, is not necessarily about how much you get, but how also you tend to regulate and monitor yourself to be under a certain regime and discipline. Is that not it?
Thank you very much, and good morning to our cherished viewers, and more especially the good people of Damongo constituency. In the first place, this is not the first time Ghana is going to IMF. In the 80s, we were in IMF. In 2002, we ran to IMF. And today, we're going to IMF. So that is the first thing. So nobody should think that under the regime, being NDC or MPP, they've never gone to IMF. And it comes as a result of certain challenges. Most of the attempts are approved in the budget, but we know very well when it comes to salaries. Salaries are negotiated after the budget has been approved. And one of the critical factors causing this fiscal runoff is the implementation of the single spine salary structure, which has catapulted the over expenditure on salaries. And government is working hard to bring it down. Two, we realize that Ghana inherited the Gang of Six projects and therefore has to source funding to do that.
Well, your opponent said that's a rhetoric. But it's something you've been saying all over every day.
You see, it is very, very good.
That's the bane of your argument.
It's very, very good to be practical. And the government is open to ensure that we are open to Ghanaians, tell them the truth, we put inputs together and move forward. The government is doing well since 2013. The homegrown policies were pursued by government. The IMF came to assess the homegrown policies and added something. It's not like after a century we threw everything away and then IMF gave us 1, 2 and then we picked. The government was already pursuing homegrown policies. The IMF came to review them, and then we continued. In April, the IMF came out and agreed that we are on track, and up to date we are on track. I want to add that, yes, every person, whether you eat or not, there is a point in time you might fall sick, and you need to take pills. So and when you are taking the pill that you are recovering, you must let people know that, yes.
I was sick.
I'm recovering.
I'm under treatment.
And it's working. Okay. It is very, very critical.
So you're saying that being realistic is the best way to go?
It's the best way.
Okay.
Not to
but at the end of the day, it's a subject of our expenditure, especially in the election years, even though the finance minister now, it's even been published on myjoyonline.com, he's saying that your side of the house, Parliament, as well as the ministry or government in general, will make sure that during the election year we don't overspend, so to speak. But in reality, the last 3 years, fiscal years, we've been overspending or overrunning our budget.
That is what the government and the Minister of Finance is saying, and we'll stick to it. For example, borrowing from Bank of Ghana this year should be 5%, and next year should be 0. And the president made it clearly that he's not going to be pushed because of elections to overspend. He'll make sure that we spend within budget. And when it came to the doctors, he made it categorically clear that he cannot take it to distort what has been planned, and therefore everything needs to be considered and make sure it's captured in the budget. And that is why even salary negotiation, they are finding a way of inputting it before the budget comes out.
Interesting point. I know you want to add something to it, but you see, the last 2-3 years, we've been having the problem of the energy crisis.
Yeah.
And that, according to many economists, is making it very difficult for us to structure the economy in a way that will come to equilibrium. And as a result of that, despite all the things we're doing with the IMF, getting the balance and getting the train back onto the wheel is becoming a difficulty for us.
Yes, I'll get to you, but allow me some few minutes to do some clarification here. My colleague rightly said it is not the first time any government of ours is going to IMF. That's true, but he forgot to accept the fact that under Jerry John Rawlings, His Excellency, 1992 to 2000, he never had the benefit of oil revenue, his government. I mean, he rather instituted GNPC under PNDC Law 84 to explore and then to get us oil in commercial quantities. It never materialized. So it was a normal, traditional economic backbone commodities that ran the economy for that time. Then came on board J. Kufuor, His Excellency's government, NPP, inheriting a very, very bad-shaped economy and all that. Measures were taken, things were put in place, and then GNPC, for Kufuor having known the good intent of Jerry Rawlings' GNPC, put in some more money, resourced it, and then made it focused. Investments, huge investments were put in there to try to get Ghanaians a commercial quantity of oil. And lo and behold, 2007, we struck oil in commercial quantities. Preparations were made. On coming on board 2009, the first finance minister, Dr. Kwabena Dofo, had to write to IMF and then the World Bank that the Ghanaian economy is robust, is resilient. And we can also deduce from their own slogan of Better Ghana to mean that they came to meet good Ghana. Kufuor had brought Ghana from west to good. So they were going to take it up from good to better. So it was an attestation to the good works of President Kufuor. And they were bequeathed with 8.6% GDP economy that had grown on its own without oil up to 8.6%. They took over from there. Then 2010, last quarter of 2010, we lifted our first crude oil for export. And petroleum revenue started coming through. You understand? So there is absolutely no reason for you to have picked on an economy that was growing at 8.6% minus oil. It reached its peak at 14%. Then down the lane, 3, 4, 5 years down the lane, we start declining. Then you are comparing apples to oranges, saying they are all fruits. What are we talking about here? Are we moving forward or we are backtracking?
But the point is that all these that we've narrated are past happenings. We're looking forward to a new age where the solutions we're providing for ourselves will take us to where the objectives ultimately will take us to. Sure. Are you happy with them? Or it's just that you want to reiterate what has passed just to be the causative factors and say, because of these indicators, we're likely not to see fruition to whatever the solutions are?
Yes, they are trying hard to try to correct.
They're trying hard
to correct the wrongs.
They're not trying hard enough.
No. They are trying hard to try to correct the wrongs, but they are not on the right footing. I'll challenge you, and I know you can do. You at it. Let's go back to IEA 2012 presidential debate. Yes, in Tamale. These are quality materials that we need to use as guidelines and yardstick towards going forward in transforming our economy. The basic thing is to transform the economy, and you do not do so by mere saying lip services and all that. You do so by pragmatic policies and positioning yourself, your nation, for a takeoff. Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo at that time had reiterated that if he had been given the opportunity and the chance, we will go back to agriculture as a backbone, transform it through mechanization, and then help subsistence farming to take off. Then he talked of the up north, vast lands, agricultural lands, arable lands that can be developed. So he was thinking of Northern Savannah Development Fund. And at that point, he had said the oncoming oil revenue, the petroleum revenue, will be well integrated into the general economic system, where oil funds of $1 billion will be pumped in developing the...
Now you're campaigning. If he has the opportunity to be president, he will do that.
Yes, but the point is, these are the solutions.
You are reiterating what the solution should be.
These are the suggestions. These are the suggestions.
Now, let's conclude that debate. Just conclude this for me.
Yes, so the solutions, the guidelines, the outlines have been laid by some people, and indeed, Dr. Abu Sakara has an excellent idea about agricultural modernization. You listen to him on the point, and you get to know that if you combine what he's really looking at with that of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, you have absolute solutions for Ghana's problem.
That'll be a measure of the CPP.
Do you know something?
No, it's a measure of ideas.
Okay. They should, by now, by 2008, there should have been a railway from the south to the north, because that was the promise in 2000.
Yeah, if the oil was
I'm coming. When you were promised in 2000, you said all slums will be turned to rising buildings.
Yeah, we are looking at the petroleum
we are not doing politics here. When we talk of the petroleum revenue, it is captured in the Petroleum Revenue Management Act. Whatever the government intends to use the money for is submitted to Parliament for approval.
Great.
And Parliament subcommittees, select committees, have the duty to do oversight responsibility. So as parliamentarians, I shouldn't sit here and perceive as if the money is being kept somewhere. No. We approve it in Parliament, what the money should be used, the project that it should be used for.
Yes.
As parliamentarians,
we
said, passed. What has the committee done? Are you getting my point?
It's good you brought this.
Let me have an answer for you.
Exactly.
PIAC periodically report on it.
Yeah.
The last I attended a workshop organized by Imani, they were able to analyze sector by sector. So somebody shouldn't see it like, hey, the oil money comes, it sits at somebody's table, and the person decides to do whatever he wanted. We have a responsibility as members of Parliament to do our oversight responsibility.
There's a question I asked you. You look at the current energy crisis and the solutions we're preferring or proffering for them. At the end of the day, because of the incessant difficulties we're having with the crisis, it's not enabling the economy to be on track. And so ultimately, we're not likely also to achieve the overall medium to long-term objective in time.
I believe that in doing the medium to long term, it was factored in the energy crisis. And the Minister for Energy, Power had indicated clearly, come by December, this doomsday will be over. So in doing your medium to long term, you take into consideration all these power issues to be able to predict how it will look like in the near future. I believe that by December, doomsday will be over. But we must also know that the economy grows.
You mean it will ameliorate? It will.
It will be over. That is what the Minister for Power, and it is on track. And I believe that by the December.
It will be over.
Yes.
Producer, I hope you have this.
That is what the minister said. If it is over, he will resign. I'm quoting the minister. And from what is going on, I'm quite okay with it. But we must also know that the economy grows. So therefore, the economy in 1980 is not the same as they say
well, that is what we plan and forecast.
But
You can't use that as an argument.
The economy grew in 2008 by 8.6. Good. However, in the same 2008, Vodafone had to be sold. Are you getting my point? What was the basis for the sale of Vodafone? By then, one touch, or what is it? Salaries, we have to go for external sources, take some of the external funds to finance. So somebody shouldn't look like, that is why I indicated, economy is not like you are there and you must continue. In 2008, US has a very huge financial crisis. So an economy is like a human being.
Anything can happen, you say.
You can fall sick.
That's not good enough, is it?
Yes. As far as you subsidize, you try to grow, anything, external shocks, somebody can strike a bomb in somewhere. We are in a globalized, and it will have an
Parliament,
effect.
you are a member of the, what committee are you? Energy.
Mines and Energy,
the
vice chairman.
Okay. And so ultimately, by December, we're supposed to see an improvement in the energy situation. Yeah. We have budgets that are expected to come. By October, it should come?
By September, October, the first batch should be in. That is 225.
Should come.
Megawatts should be in.
We're getting reports,
AXA will be in by the end of December, and some few other emergency power plants.
I always love the way you know the dates and what agreements there are. But, but ultimately...
Yes, the energy situation. I'll talk about it. My brother went to the petroleum line, the petroleum management,
revenue management
and the PIAC and all that. He knows, as far as we are concerned in Parliament, PIAC's report, annual report, yearly, have been recommending and asking Parliament to drag the Minister of Finance to Parliament.
Really?
To question him about, please go and read your PIAC report. You have a copy. Go and read your Public Interest Accountability Committee report. Go and read it. It is in there. And then PIAC has also indicted the Ministry of Finance for having run over the law because the critical areas of the revenue management, the revenue the petroleum revenue, Parliament had to decide every 3 years. And as we speak today, Parliament have decided on 4 thematic areas: amortization of loans, building of roads, 3, modernization of agriculture, and 4, capacity building. PIAC report have questioned the capacity building, what it is and how the monies are used for. And indeed, it can to surprise you to know that the amount allocated to capacity building is far more than amount allocated to agricultural modernization. And then again, PIAC is saying that the government, per the ministry, have diluted this kind of 4 thematic areas and have used the monies, so-called used the monies for expanded into major projects that you cannot, as it were, pinpoint a particular project that you can see and say that the petroleum revenue.
Are you paraphrasing, or that's your interpretation?
I'm paraphrasing. I'm paraphrasing. Now I'm going to the energy. Please.
Let him have his say.
Have your piece.
I need to give you a pen. You write out some of the.
No, I cannot advertise.
Now let me go to the energy. You took over power 2009, and the first budget statement that the then Minister of Finance presented to Parliament, page 92 or so, under energy performance, he writes that the government did well to solve the energy crisis in 2007. That the government brought in emergency power plants to solve the problem. That the government has invested in TICO 2, TICO 1, TICO 2, whatever, thermal plants and all those things. So going forward, we anticipate that we will do further investment so that we can, within the few years, we can produce 3,000 megawatts. We can generate 3,000 megawatts. So the problem of energy will be a thing of the past. It is in there. Budget Statement 2009, presented to Parliament, to the people of Ghana, by the then Finance Minister. So it was a clear admittance of the fact that J. Kufuor and NPP government left the scene having made adequate provision.
So you're saying that it's because we didn't plan for the remaining
Exactly.
years? Okay.
Exactly. They were caught pants down by the resource care situation. They were so excited about the oil inflows, the petroleum coming in.
But we didn't prioritize.
We didn't prioritize. So our attention was there. and other sectors suffered, including the cocoa sector, the cocoa industry, have suffered because of the oncoming. The Dutch disease have caught up with us.
You know something?
I don't know.
He said in 2009, he never mentioned for the 8 years what addition they've added to the...
Oh, they've enumerated that severally.
No, they were nothing.
We have the mining energy
my reserve plan was 80 megawatts.
Go and read the budget statement of 2009.
2009, they...
Go and read the budget statement of your own minister
I have it.
Go and read it.
Not what you are doing.
Producer,
if you are in power from 2001 to 2008 and 2009, a minister is talking about the plans you have put in place or the projects that are ongoing, then you have a problem. Because the demand for power increased by 10% every year. And we expected that MPP, being responsible, will be adding so that they can tell us in 2002 we added this. 2003 we added that. 2004.
This is all we need.
2007.
You blaming the MPP for not doing what they have to do.
I'm just analyzing what they are saying. Only in 2007, for the 8 years, they realized 80 megawatts. Meanwhile, the demand is not static. The demand is growing. Are you getting my point? What I wanted them to analyze is that in 2002, we added this. 2003, how can you be in power for 8 years and what you can account for is 80 megawatts and therefore we have these plans in...
So your point has been made. So you're saying that because consistently...
PIAC problem was that the petroleum revenue for budget one was spread thinly.
Because sincerely, I've also read I've also gone through the PIAC report.
That it was spread thinly.
And what it indicts the finance minister is not going according to what the regulations are. That
it was spread thinly.
Overstepping its bounds.
Yes, and that one I support it. That it is good as Parliament. We have to also scrutinize to ensure that we take a major project, execute, than spreading it over several projects. So that is different from this. And let me come to human resource or capacity building. That doesn't mean that the money is not being used. Maybe it should have been used for 2 projects, used for 10. It doesn't. It is completely different from the money.
It's illegal.
In human,
it's illegal.
If you give them the opportunity to go into roads,
it is illegal to do that.
No,
accept that.
If you give them the opportunity that you have approved that the road sector this amount should go, and you do not give them that it should be for 2 projects, the road ministry can decide to have 5. That is what.
I
get your point there, but the law specifically stipulates that these are the number of things you can do based on the act that tends to establish whatever the management bill should be. No, at the end of the day,
it didn't identify. It said capacity building.
It was not specific.
Roads.
Yes, but it didn't say because it's capacity building, you don't prioritize how you need to build capacity.
Let me come to capacity building. When you come to the petroleum industry, building local capacity is very, very critical.
And expensive.
One, if we want to survive, because we think that in the next few years, this Talo and about 25 years that they will hand over to Ghanaians. If the government want, then we take over. If we don't build capacity towards that.
Well, nobody's doubting that.
And two.
But proper accountability is important, and prioritization is also critical.
That is what I'm saying. 2, capacity building in the petroleum industry is not 2 years. It's not 5 years. For somebody to call himself you are a guru in the oil sector, you need 10 to 15 years. Experience.
Both training and
build
capacity
up
building.
And build it up.
Okay.
If we don't take time and we run down the capacity building, tomorrow, when this oil industry are going and I have to hand over to us to run, that is where we'll have a problem. And we'll be forced to re-engage them. So capacity building...
We'll say that you have
no, because it is not tangible. It is not tangible. It's not something you can see. Sometimes you don't feel the significance of it. But human resource is very, very critical.
You see, he's talking about the ABFA, the annual budgetary funding allocation. That is one aspect. That is 70% of the revenue that is coming through. And then with the ABFA, then the 4 thematic areas are used. It is thinly used, so the effect is not forthcoming. The people are The average child on my street at Bantama does not feel the effect of the oil revenue, petroleum money coming through. That is our concern. That is why the lawmaker made sure that specific projects that can be well quantified, evaluated, and monitored should be in place. In any case, what prevents us as a nation trying to transform and integrate the petroleum industry into the mainstream economy? Good. Now, the energy situation from 2009 to 2010, we did not experience doom so. 2011, no doom so. 2012, mid-year, 6 June, it began. So it tells you that there was something fundamentally wrong coming from 2009 to 2012. That was not done. That was not done. And this is the bane. This is where...
He said no.
Well, but this is the reality, and everybody knows. So you can you can take yourself and laugh. But then the reality has come down to dawn on us as a people. Going forward, we need to be more pragmatic. We need to be more open. We need to...
Are you satisfied with the solutions currently
No.
For example, very soon we're supposed to be having 2 barges that will be in.
No.
And ultimately we've signed a number of power purchasing agreements. We're going to have proper off-takers stipulated in those agreements that would ensure...
These are generation. We'll be talking about distribution. Government owes ECG and VRE $360 million that they need these money.
Okay, this is not for debate. Okay, we can use 30 minutes to extra to do this. But the MPP somehow seem to have told the Criminal Investigation Department of the Ghana Police Service to begin investigation into a case of an alleged diversion of funds by the party's vice national chairman. That's the first national vice chairman, Freddie Blay, and the treasurer of the party, Akwabo Ayeboah, who has now come to deny any wrongdoing. And apparently an account was set up. In that very account, the party chairman and the general secretary are not signatories. And they are worried that some withdrawals have been made in those accounts and proper accountability have not been made. You're a member of the party.
Yes. I'm ready for that. To start with, the NPP has not gone to CID.
Who took the case to the CID?
That is a point for all of us to look at.
Who took the case to the CID?
The CID says they do not know the complainant.
They can't reveal the complainant.
They say they do not know the complainant. So to set the record straight, NPP had not gone to CID to make a complaint. That is one point. The second point is these are internal matters that people do not understand certain things. No problem, not at all. The party has instituted a committee headed by Nana Ohinito, the former General Secretary, including some prominent members of Parliament. I wouldn't want to mention the names here. They are looking into this thing, and very soon they will come up with their report, a committee on that. So, and to be presented to NEC, for NEC to take the necessary action to see. We should make it clear that no prima facie case have been established of any embezzlement.
True.
No prima facie.
But is that for media speculation and arguments? And indeed, we've had protagonists within the whole drama coming out to rebut or reply to some of these allegations. So indeed, they remain allegations, don't they, Lord?
Yes. So as far as we are concerned, I want all members of New Patriotic Party listening to me this morning and watching me to calm down their nerves. There's absolutely nothing to worry over. I'm telling you, there has not been any prima facie case as at yet established. Maybe the committee's report may do so or may exonerate them and all that. So at this point, then again, bank accounts being open here and there, my understanding and the understanding of all of us is that the controversial account, so to speak, is an existing account in the name of New Patriotic Party, but had been dormant for now. If for anything, it has been revived. If for anything, it is not a newer account that has been opened. That is also for a fact.
For which the party's national chairman and the general secretary are not signatories to, but some officials of the party are signatories to, making withdrawals at the end of the day to at the blind side of the two officials. That is not good enough. These are your topmost officials, elected officials, sir.
These remain allegations not until they are proven by the committee.
Oh. That is true. The committee may be speaking to it, but we have the personalities come out to say, yes, indeed, we have been making withdrawals, but it's not as if nobody has any knowledge about it.
It does not matter. We are relying on the committee, going to rely on the committee's report to ascertain any wrongdoing. Okay. Then we will move forward to as
an independent observer.
But then, yes, what is most important is Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo undertaking a 2-week tour.
No, we'll talk about that.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about that. Okay. And so at the end of the day, you are just an ordinary observer, but a keen observer and an interested party observer.
I'm very interested. Not an observer.
Not an ordinary observer.
This is when they say these are internal matters. Just laugh.
Well, they are indeed internal matters. These are things. If they have resolved,
this is a party that is saying that in 2016 will take over the reign of government. They are saying that, and it is clear
that we are coming.
That even the internal small resources, people are siphoning them. When it comes to the national resource. So Ghanaians should know, even just a small institution, they're having problem. People are connecting tubes here. It's like water is flowing. The money comes, people connect tubes like illegally and siphon it.
Like you are doing now.
Signing and picking money without the knowledge of the lead. Maybe the leader is the one who authorized it.
Is that how you want the debate to be?
No, I want to say the national chairman is not aware. The general secretary is not aware. If the account is dormant, I believe that when money flows to the party, the first people to be aware of it, the chairman, the general secretary, and if they have a flag bearer, the flag bearer should be aware. And if an account, even dormant or open, money trickle into the account without the knowledge of the chairman and the general secretary, withdrawals were made, it tells you that these are people who cannot manage their own resources.
You are taking political advantage and making all these.
This is not the first time. A leading member of the party once said.
Who is that?
I'm coming. Said that when Nana Akufo-Addo visited Kumasi, his boys went to Golden Tulip and spent $90,000.
Oh.
It was captured. The person agreed to it.
Oh.
No, these are allegations.
No, it was captured.
These are allegations.
No, I'm telling you.
You're a member of parliament, should be making these allegations.
Let me be very clear.
We are beyond this.
Don't mention names. I beg you.
Because you said this is not true.
I will say they remain allegations. I've actually quashed this very problem as far as
you see,
this is alleged.
Yes.
You see,
I know you wanted to say something.
Yeah,
but this is how it goes. You can't just make any comments that suits you. Yeah. The point is, these should have been internal party issues. Yeah. Why is it that you're making these play out in the public gallery?
It's a worry to me, just as it's a worry to you. It's a worry to the numerous party owners. Indeed, I've said it over and over. Those of us in leadership, we do not even number up to 3,000. There are more than 5 million Ghanaians out there who voted Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, a new patriotic party. More than 5 million people. And more are going to vote this time around. They are the real and true owners of the party. So when matters of this nature arises, and we out of egoism and out of whatever individual parochial interest, we try to aggravate situations that could easily be resolved within, then we are not doing anybody any good. The people out there are suffering when we are here playing those kind of monkey sizes and all those things. We need to be circumspect in all these things. And well, the media.
As an MP, are you worried about it?
Oh, why not? Yes, I am. I am. I'm as much worried about this when I hear in government circles situations like Jida and Sada and all those things, public funds being siphoned here and there. Just my brother said, you plug a tube and then you start siphoning and all those things.
You are playing politics now.
No,
but he did politics and I stopped you. You are also starting.
So you see,
so Nana Addo is going on a tour.
So candidly, I'm not happy. And most of our supporters down there, we are not happy. So we are appealing to whoever and those who goes around talking about these things out of context and out of, I wouldn't say ignorance, without facts and figures. They should wait. We should all wait for the committee report to come out. Then we can all interrogate it, whether in private, whether in public, or whatever the case is. Now this tour begins with...
How do you mention, what's the name of the tour? It said to build...
Rise and build.
Rise and build. Rise and build what?
Two things. We are rising up to build confidence in ourselves as Ghanaians. You understand? Ghanaians, by general, and as we witnessed last Tuesday at the District Assembly elections, the apathy is. Ghanaians are losing confidence in our governance systems and structures. Leadership have failed the people so that people, the average Ghanaian does not see the need to participate in democracy and in governmental issues. These are the things we need to reinvigorate in the people of Ghana. And thanks to God, we picked on Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, who has the capacity and the capability to re-engineer the crusade of coming back to confidence level. The integrity of the average Ghanaian has been so much bruised, both internal and internationally, that we need to bring it back. So we are asking people to rise and build again our image as a proud Ghanaian, that Ghana may and have to and shall work again. So rise and build. Then again, we are asking our numerous supporters and sympathizers out there to rise up, officers and non-officers alike, to rise up and build the party for a resound victory to 2016. Then finally, we are asking people, all Ghanaians, to rise up and build Ghana again. Ghana shall work again.
Okay. Fred, you're my lead director. Please call the marketing department. He just campaigned here, full message. For who surcharge you? Full campaign. You said rise and build. What do you make of rise and build?
Do you know what? First of all,
you have only 2 minutes.
Yeah, I just want to add that. Do you know that there is a complaint that members of parliament, the MPP said they are not more contributing to support the party since February?
If you, okay, so it's not for comment.
Rise and build is good because when he takes the road to Akachi, Georgia, he will realize that the president has tarred the road, and he will travel on it very well to wherever to go he goes. So if somebody hadn't tarred and made those places fine,
President Kufuor, who was a member of the MPP who became president, also tarred roads. For example, we had the Akaswaya Bransa road.
That is the meaning of rise and build. We never say rise and build.
So what do you make of the tour?
That is what I'm saying.
I think that you are not too happy with the tour as an opposition party, as a party that is in government.
I know it will have any much impact.
And Volta has
whatever he's going to say. Yeah. The JM is already doing it. But let me make it clear. Generally, these assembly elections don't get much attention as to that of general
Adams Mutawakilu.
So you don't
He's a member of parliament for Damango. And Damango is in the northern region.
Yes.
And thanks for joining me also.
Thank
you. We have Henry Kwabena Kokofu, member of parliament for Bantama. And thanks for joining me. He's a legal practitioner as well.
Yeah.
We're taking a break. When we come back, we're going to have a lengthy conversation with the man himself. He's embarking on a special project, and Kwakese will be here to have a lot more discussions with us on that very new project he's embarking on.